Middle school was weird. Part 1.
Man, I thought I was so cool with that eyeliner. Then I got a haircut in 7th grade. I chopped off 12 inches.
I remember.
Yeah, the lady flat ironed my hair and she was like, "You look so pretty." I was like, "Thanks." And then I didn't flat iron my hair the next day and it was a giant poopy mess. And I was like, "What happened?" I didn't know that I was going to have to flat iron it every day for the next 3 years of my life for it to look decent.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
My hair's always been super flat, so if I just brush it when I get out of the shower. So, like, this one time, I went to Chen Chen's house, and, her mom had seen me, like, a million times before that, but one day I was in her sister's room talking with them, and I brushed my hair, and her mom, like, was walking by, just offhandedly saying something, and then she stopped, and, like, took 2 steps back and leaned in the door, and she was like, "I like what you're doing with your hair." And I was like, "Thanks, I brushed it," and she, like, awkwardly kept going.
I had a friend, I do remember, actually, Mr. Preacher Teacher Man.
We're gonna call her Amnesia.
Okay. I was going to call her AK. So we were actually good friends in 8th grade. We got along well. We listened to some of the same songs. We listened to Jar of Hearts a million times and sat at the lunch table. And one day, for breakfast, her and this girl got into this argument. And so later on that day, we were in Preacher Teacher's class. And she turned around and she said, "I'm going to the office. Can I tell them your name as a witness?" And I said, "Yeah, Roland, R-O-W. And she said, "You don't want to be in it?" I said, "No, Roland, R-O-W. She's like, "Why don't you want to help me?" I said, "Roland, R-O-W. And so the whole time she thought that I was saying, like, "Please, no, God, don't send me to the office with you." But I just didn't want them to send, like, another girl instead of me. Because nobody else knows my last name, right? And so, and then one day she was out. She was out of class. And Preacher Teacher said, "Hey, can you text AK these notes tonight?" And I said, "I don't have a phone number." And I didn't, but that's all I said. And so the next day, some of the kids told her that I said she was a horrible person. I didn't like her. We're not friends.
That's so not
Because
right.
I said I didn't have her phone number. Like, I didn't. I barely had a phone. I was 12. I had a flip phone, and I was allowed to, like, text 2 people. And it wasn't AK.
So everybody just assumed you weren't friends just because you didn't have her number?
Well, I didn't even care what other people thought. They told her that. She believed it. She believed it, like, for several weeks. She was like, "So, you told everybody that we weren't friends?" And I was like, "I never said that." And then everybody was like, yeah, you said that. And I was like, "I never said that." But then, like, a month later, she's like, "I forgive you." Freaking like, okay, I guess. I just don't have your phone number.
So, on the topic of AK, when she first moved, and I had moved the year before, she apparently had a hit list. And having been suspended the year before for fighting, I got blamed for it real quick, because I was the quiet, pale, dark-haired new girl. So, like, half the people knew it was her, the other half thought it was me. And so, recently, I went to Utah and shared this story with one of husband's online friends, and I was telling him, I was like, okay, so I got blamed for her kill list. And so a lot of people avoided me. And then senior year, I was talking with a teacher about the reasons I had been suspended in the past, and there were only two reasons. And then someone else, I'm gonna call her Daisy. Daisy pipes in and goes, "Weren't you the one that had the kill list in middle school?" And before I could even speak on my own behalf, the girl behind me, we're gonna call her Katie, leaned forward so fast and, like, threw her arm in front of me, and she was like, "No, it was AK." And I was like, "Oh my god, thank you." She's like, no, I was on the top of that."
Oh man, I
and
didn't know who it was.
We all turned and be like, "Katie, what do you mean?" She's like, "This girl in Mr. Whoever's class saw me take gum out of my purse and, like, put it in my mouth, and she leaned over and she was like, 'Hey, can I have a piece of gum?' But it was my last piece of gum, so I was like, 'No, man, sorry.' This girl whips out her notebook, throws it on the desk, throws it open, and it just has kill list written at the top of the page. And she scratched out whoever was number 1 and wrote me beside it with a Sharpie. And I watched my back from that day onwards. It was...
I was in that class with her. That was teacher Richard's class. Because we all sat around and played that. That makes so much sense.
Oh my god, were you number 1?
Ooh. I have been. Because in front of me was...
Gingerly.
Yeah. and in front of him, what was sad
Katie.
was...
AK.
So for her to, like, lean over, like, I was number one.
We need to go ask AK if she
We're
remembers
totally
this.
cool now.
I mean, I assume same. I haven't seen her in a while.
Was that really number one on that list?
I don't know.
Gosh,
It's a possibility.
I do.
I mean, part of me wants to reach out and ask Katie, like, if she remembered who number one was.
The day she forgave me, we were going to lunch. And, like, I stayed in the food bar, so she followed me. She just taps me on the shoulder, and she's like, hey, I forgive you. And I was like, freaking fine. Like, I literally was like, okay, let's just move on with this friendship, because I cannot convince you that I, like, was hating on you that day. I just legitimately did not have your phone number.
Oh, man. So, this one time, I was in the gym, and a girl just came out of the locker room and smacked me across the face.